At the end of the day, part of, I think, our biggest challenge as women is that we're trying to figure out who we should be and how we should comport ourselves in the world, but we're doing it based on using other women as a proxy. And that becomes a problem. And that's why the word of God has
Mm-hmm.
told us, comparing yourself amongst yourselves is unwise. The reason for that is very simple. We're all trying to figure this life out. We're all trying to figure out how to be the best of ourselves. But if we start by kind of looking over the fence at another woman, we've already missed the mark. Here's something that God just revealed to me many years ago. We all know that our fingerprints are unique. They're unique to us. And there's a reason for that. Our fingerprints are really the intricate design that God uses to unlock the potential that He placed within us uniquely. There's a reason why God designed our fingerprints to be unique to us. But I think too many of us are spending our life essentially trying to be someone else when we were created to be ourselves. And so I don't think it's ever a good idea to judge, am I being a good mom? Am I being a good wife? Am I being a good Christian? Am I being a good professional based on what someone else has achieved or what we assume of their life? I think one of the biggest dangers, and since I work in social technology, what I've seen is one of the biggest dangers is that we compare our reality to the fiction that others post on social media. Because if you think about it, people only post the highlight reel, right? Like everybody posts the day they got the new car, but nobody's posting about the day it got repossessed. Everybody posts,
Right.
about the vacation I just took with Bay, the hashtag husbay and all that, but nobody posts the day that we decided to get a divorce. Like nobody posts that as look at what happened in my life. And because of that, we have a skewed understanding of who we should be. But I believe you're absolutely right, Jamie. We have to take our identity from who God has said we are. And we have to recognize that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, not based on somebody else, but based on who God designed us to be. Something that I'll share it now, just being transparent. When the COVID first hit, and a lot of people, were like, "Oh, good, I get to be home and have this time to relax." I felt compelled to really seek God and spend some time in His presence, trying to understand what was in my heart that needed to come out. I figured, because I traveled so much, I was like, all right, this is the first time I will have been stationary for any length of time in years. So let me just take this time to dig deep before the Lord. And God revealed to me pretty quickly that the area that I was not pleasing Him in the most was in the area of comparison and comparing myself to other people. And it's so funny how this works because, on the surface, God has blessed me tremendously in multiple areas. And yet, even I was struggling with comparison. And so I was asking God, I was like, Lord, reveal to me where this comes from, where it came from, and how I can get victory over it. And God took me back to the story of Saul and David. And if you'll remember, in that scenario, we all know about Saul and David, right? We all know about how Saul was, jealous of David, and David was just doing the work of the Lord, and Saul was felt threatened by him. But God made me look at that story with new eyes because He said, "Study Jonathan." And I was like, "Study Jonathan? What does this have to do with anything?" And what I realized was, even though the headline has always been the conflict between Saul and David, the real conflict should have been between Jonathan and David because Saul was already king. And so, in fact, Jonathan should have been the one who felt threatened by David because it was really Jonathan's legacy that was at risk. And as a matter of fact, Saul said to Jonathan in a fit of rage, he said, "Don't you know that as long as the son of Jesse lives, you will never be king?" And so, what God showed me through that is He took me back even further in the book of First Samuel. He showed me that early on, before David even entered the picture, Jonathan had a real authentic relationship with God, so much so that even though the Israelites didn't have weapons, he went to attack the Philistines with nothing but him and a sword and his armor bearer. He went to attack them on his own. And what he said
is he said, nothing will keep God from saving, whether by many or by few. Jonathan had such an authentic relationship with God that he wasn't threatened by anything or anyone because he kept his focus on the Lord. And that helped me to see it's like, you know what? The reason why I was struggling with seeing other things and people as risks and threats is because I forgot my source. My source is not other people. My source is not anyone who has anything to offer me. My source is the Lord. And as long as we remember that, we will never see someone else as a threat. We will never see somebody else's blessing as a personal affront to our own greatness. We will celebrate them. And that's exactly what Jonathan did. When his father tried to disparage David, Jonathan celebrated him. And he lifted him up and he said, we should celebrate this person who has done this incredible work for you. And I think that's the type of attitude that we as women have to cultivate. We are not in competition with anybody else except for the person we were yesterday. We're trying to get closer and closer to our purpose. So I just wanted to share that with you as a personal testimony of what God revealed to me. And let me tell y'all something, freedom is a blessing.
Hi everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe today and you'll never miss a new upload. Thanks for being a part of our Better Together community.